Could there be a link between vitamin deficiencies and autoimmune disorders?
Well, I'm not aware of a link between. Oh yeah, sure. So if there is a link between deficit of vitamin and autoimmune disorder. So I'm not aware of a link between deficit of vitamins and autoimmune or autoinflammatory disorders. There is a link for sure between deficit of vitamins and eye disease. For example, deficit of vitamin A can cause eye disease, also, invalidating. But I'm not aware of any autoimmune or autoinflammatory diseases actually caused by deficit of vitamin D, because basically the pathway and the mechanism of autoimmune and autoinflammatory disease are completely different. Usually they are based on a genetic background, and there are some external factors who can basically trigger the disease, but I'm not aware of deficit of vitamins.
Yeah, Lizzie. So are you gonna talk about vitamin D? Go on. You do it. You do it. You do it. You do it. No, you do it.
Hello, I'm Lizzie. I was speaking earlier about the microbiome. What we know is that some vitamin deficiencies, particularly vitamin D deficiency, is associated with an increased risk of developing some autoimmune diseases, such as rheumatoid arthritis and also multiple sclerosis. So if you have a vitamin D deficiency, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will get an autoimmune disease, but if you have deficiencies in vitamin D, it is associated with an increased risk. So taking a vitamin D supplementation, it's not going to be a bad thing or a good thing, but it is one of the things that we know when it comes to vitamins. They're associated with differences in your immune response, and therefore in some people also to do with genetics, then the risk of developing these kind of different diseases. But I actually don't know about uveitis, and hopefully now, yeah.
So yeah, everyone's right. So the data doesn't exist to suggest that if you're we're focusing on vitamin D because the most of the data is around vitamin D. The data doesn't exist to properly correlate low vitamin D and uveitis, but I completely echo Lizzie's statements. So there is actual national guidance. It's kind of unusual that this country issues national guidance on what you should take. There's national guidance on taking vitamin D for adults and children. So everybody should just be on it. And if your vitamin D level is low, it's very low hanging fruit. So I tend to treat, you'll get different doctors doing different things, but I tend to treat low vitamin D below 50 because it's unlikely to cause any problems and it might help. And it's just national guidance anyway.